Hi, I'm Mike Fitzgerald, president of Frontiers. Montana is one of the states that is open to out-of-state fly fishers this season, and I have an e-meeting this morning with Wade Fellin. He's the managing director of Big Hole Lodge in the southwestern part of the state. I want to talk about how the fishing is so far into the season and kind of look ahead over the next few months. Thanks for joining us.
Hey Wade, how are things out in Montana?
Hi, Mike. It's great to see you. Things are cold. We have a beautiful cold snap that started about 2.5 weeks ago, and it saved our winter snowpack. So we're welcoming it, but it's a bit of a shock to the system. After a week of 80 degrees, we're back down to 35 degrees at the moment.
Yeah, I think, as we talked about, I was there a few weeks ago and it was really odd. We had 5 straight days of precipitation at our cabin, which, as you know, is, pretty close to you. And there was quite a bit of snow above 6,000 feet, and I think up to 15 inches above 8,500 feet. And at first I thought, geez, that's going to impact the rivers and everything's going to come up. But then I also thought, well, it might provide you with some snow and some flows well into the season, and wanted to get your thoughts about that.
We really needed that storm. Unfortunately, it hit while you and Christine were here trying to get out and recreate. But for our snowpack, if you talked to me a month ago, I was worried. We had about 80% of snow in the mountains and 17% of snow water equivalent, which was a baffling number. Basically, our snowpack was just a dry sponge waiting to be filled up by that spring rain, which is typical. It usually happens in April and May, and it didn't happen until the 1st of June this year. So we went from about 17% of normal snow water equivalent up to well over 100%, and our snowpack came from 80 to 100. So we're in good shape. We were kind of gritting our teeth about, are we going to have low water in August and early September with irrigators and just no snow left for the fields and the rivers. But I don't believe that'll be the case now. In fact, I hear it's starting to rain again.
Yeah, well, that's I think good news. And we've been through some dry years before that have been saved by spring and summer precipitation. So hopefully you're on a good roll for much of the season. I know you recently opened, and we're super thrilled that Montana is welcoming out-of-state fly fishers right now. And just curious how the fishing was in week one.
It was good. We went over to Rock Creek, which, as you know, having a cabin near Rock Creek, you're able to fish from a boat until July 1st. So we snuck over there for its last week and got into some salmon flies and golden stones and yellow sallies. The Big Hole was cold in the beginning of the week and then heated up quite a bit toward the end of the week. The flows came down and fishing was really good on a dry fly. The beaverhead fished exceptionally well. We had one client who's been here 13 years in a row and fishes hard, and he had his 40 fish day he'd heard about for 13 years and never had on the beaverhead. So he was grinning ear to ear.
That's great. I saw on social media one of your clients also had a monster brown trout.
Yes. Yeah, that was the same client actually on the lower beaverhead. So
any salmon flies on the Big Hole?
No, unfortunately, for the 4th year in a row, they hatched right before a cold snap, and it was 22 degrees 3 days after they crawled into the willows, so that got them. But what it did for us is kept the fish hungry rather than gorging themselves like they sometimes do. The fish are still looking for a meal. So now we have the yellow sallies crawling around, PMDs, little yellow mayfly, and then some gray and brown mayflies, large mayflies that we're imitating with a big Adams.
Oh, that's great. I mean, for our clients who want to fish big dry flies, I just think late June is the best time. And it's always exciting to be out there. And it's great to see Montana green instead of brown. And, as the fields dry up through the summer.
Yes. And between the COVID quarantine shutdown and now this weather, we're treating this as May, and we're looking forward to June starting July 1st.
I'm sure the clients will appreciate that.
Yes.
Speaking of COVID, Wade, I know a lot of clients are hesitant to travel in this environment. Can you tell me what precautions and initiatives Big Hole Lodge has taken to make clients feel safe and comfortable at your lodge?
Absolutely. bottom line is we're taking this very seriously. My dad has run the lodge for 36 years and is at retirement age, and our governor has issued precautions for folks traveling that essentially, if you're able to drive, drive, and if you're flying, please wear a mask in the airport and do everything you can to stay safe on that travel day. When you get to Big Hole Lodge, we feel it's as safe as anywhere in the country right now because social distancing is part of fly fishing. Our staff is all masked up. Anyone handling things that are passed on to you are gloved and then removing gloves before the next serving. Guides are wearing masks in the vehicles to and from the river, but if you've driven your own car, you have the option to drive yourself to the water. And then when you're in the boat, you're in open air. Lunches where we used to, and we'll go back to someday, a tablecloth with a large setting and serving of salads and desserts and sandwiches and everything else. Now our kitchen staff is getting up earlier and single wrapping all of that good food into a plate the clients go into the cooler and grab themselves. Hand sanitizers everywhere. We've stapled the little push boxes up to all the cabins and hand sanitizer in the guide cars and the coolers. So Big Hole Lodge is cleaner than it's ever been. We're more careful than we've ever been. And if the country allows for Big Hole Lodge in Montana to stay open, this would be a great place to get away and socially distance and still enjoy the outdoors.
And I know, like many lodges all over the world, Wade, that you've had a number of cancellations and a lot of rescheduled trips to 2021. But I know that you now have a handful of excellent dates available this season. And maybe you could just give us a few openings that look particularly great to you from a fishing standpoint and tell us what type of experience the clients might typically expect at that time of the year.
Yes, we have received quite a few cancellations, and it's in an older demographic, and quite frankly, I respect that decision to stay home and stay safe this year. So we've been very fluid with our cancellation policy. Many of our clients are choosing to roll their deposits over to next year and reserve a spot for next year because when it's safe to fish, that's what we all want to be doing. With that has opened up quite a bit of space that's being scooped up by clients that we may not have heard from before. Younger clients that are driving around the country and kind of hopping from lodge to lodge, picking up availability. So what that's created for us is openings in what I call the hottest weeks of the summer. Everyone asks, what's the best time for fishing? Well, that's an impossible question to answer without knowing your fishing preferences. If it's small dry flies, August 2 to 8 and 9 to 16 are hot weeks for our trico hatch. August 16 to 22, the hoppers start coming in. That's a hot week. If you like getting up a little later and fishing small dry flies and then unweighted streamers through the afternoon for brown trout that are starting to stage, we have availability all through September. And most of the kids have gone back to school and the river's really quite empty. Starting August 2nd, we've got a lot of great availability.
You know, autumn is my favorite time to fish out there. So, you know, I think September is great. And I've had some great fishing in August, and that's exciting that you've got some space, and hopefully some of our clients will consider that. And I think another, you know, message that we're getting out to our clientele is that there have been so many reschedules for 2021. If you are thinking about traveling next year, it's really important to book now, because if you wait until the new year, and hopefully all of this will be behind us from the virus standpoint, it's really unlikely that you're going to be able to get a prime date at the top lodges in the West, like Big Hole Lodge, unless you plan, you know, real soon, because space is already tight for 2021.
Absolutely. And the way we're handling it, and I believe most lodges are, is if you choose not to come this year, your spot is reserved for next year due to COVID. And so if you are taking the trip this year, then that spot opens up after your first right of refusal. So looking back from today's date into earlier June and late May, we do have some space available, and I recommend calling.
Good. Well, Wade, thanks a lot. I hope that the sun comes out and you can get a little time on the river this afternoon. I know you've got a fresh group of clients coming in soon, and wish you the very best for the season. I hope to see you in a couple of weeks when we're out there.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, this guy needs to get out on the water today.
Good.
I'll see you soon.
Great.
Give my best to the team.
I will, and you say hi to Craig.
Thank you.
Take care.